Introduction: A World Holding Its Breath. For weeks, the world has watched as tensions between Iran and the United States quietly escalated into one of the most dangerous geopolitical standoffs in recent years. What began as sharp diplomatic language has now evolved into military posturing, carrier deployments, and direct threats exchanged by senior officials on both sides. While no official declaration of war has been made, the signs are unmistakable. Fighter jets are repositioned, naval fleets move closer, intelligence agencies issue warnings, markets react, allies prepare contingency plans. This is not just another political disagreement. This is a confrontation rooted in decades of mistrust, proxy wars, economic warfare, and ideological conflict. If miscalculated, it could ignite a regional conflict with global consequences. This report explores what is really happening between Iran and the United States, why it matters, how it started, and where it could lead. The historical roots of hostility. To understand the present crisis, one must return to 1979, the year Iran's Islamic Revolution reshaped the Middle East. The overthrow of the US-backed Shah and the rise of Ayatollah Khomeini transformed Iran from a Western ally into America's most outspoken regional adversary. The hostage crisis at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran permanently damaged relations. Since then, decades of sanctions, covert operations, cyber warfare, and proxy conflicts have defined the relationship. For Iran, the United States represents imperial interference and regime change ambitions. For the United States, Iran represents regional destabilization, nuclear ambitions, and threats to allies like Israel. Neither side trusts the other. Every move is viewed through a lens of suspicion. The nuclear shadow. At the heart of the standoff lies Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists its nuclear activities are for peaceful energy and medical research. Washington, however, believes the program could be used to develop nuclear weapons, a red line for U.S. foreign policy. The collapse of nuclear agreements, renewed sanctions, and inspections disputes have pushed both sides closer to confrontation. Each uranium enrichment announcement triggers new warnings. Each inspection delay raises alarms. For the U.S., allowing Iran to reach nuclear weapon capability would fundamentally alter the balance of power in the Middle East. For Iran, nuclear advancement is leverage and survival. Military posturing and power displays. Recent developments show a clear pattern: deterrence through visibility. The United States has increased its military presence in the region, deploying aircraft carriers, advanced fighter jets, and missile defense systems. Official statements describe these moves as defensive, yet the scale sends an unmistakable message. Iran has responded with large-scale military drills, missile tests, and publicized footage of underground bases. Iranian commanders openly warn that any attack will be met with unprecedented retaliation. This is psychological warfare, strength displayed not to fight, but to intimidate. Proxy forces, the invisible battlefield. While direct confrontation remains avoided, indirect conflict is already underway. Iran's regional allies, militias, and armed groups across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen have issued warnings of retaliation should Iran be attacked. The United States views these groups as extensions of Iranian power. Iran sees them as defensive buffers against foreign intervention. This shadow war allows both nations to apply pressure without triggering full-scale conflict, but it also increases the risk of escalation through miscalculation. Economic warfare and sanctions. Beyond missiles and troops lies another battlefield, the global economy. U.S.-led sanctions have severely restricted Iran's access to international markets, oil exports, and banking systems. Inflation and unemployment have risen, placing pressure on Iranian society. Iran, in response, has threatened shipping routes and hinted at disrupting global energy supplies, a move that could shock global markets. Economic warfare has become as powerful as military force. Global reactions and diplomatic tensions. The world is watching, nervously. European nations urge restraint and dialogue. Russia and China call for de-escalation while strengthening ties with Tehran. Middle Eastern states quietly prepare for spillover effects. Any conflict would not remain local. Energy prices, refugee flows, and global security alliances would all be affected. This is no longer a bilateral issue. It is a global one. Could war actually happen? Despite aggressive rhetoric, both sides understand the cost of war. A full-scale conflict would devastate infrastructure, destabilize the region, and likely spiral beyond control. This mutual understanding acts as a restraint, but not a guarantee. History shows that wars often begin not by intention, but by accident. A misinterpreted signal, a rogue attack, a political miscalculation. The danger lies in the unpredictability. What happens next? 3 paths lie ahead. De-escalation through diplomacy, prolonged standoff and proxy conflict, sudden military escalation. For now, the world remains suspended between all 3. Every statement, movement, and decision matters. Conclusion: a fragile balance. The Iran-United States standoff is not just a political dispute. It is a test of global stability, leadership, and restraint. Whether this crisis becomes another chapter of diplomacy or the beginning of a wider conflict will depend on decisions made behind closed doors. Decisions that could shape the future of the Middle East for generations. For now, the world watches and waits.